Hello and welcome to our presentation on the Beamer horse set. My name is Randy Hood. I'm calling from British Columbia. I will be interviewing some of the top equestrians from a wide range of equestrian backgrounds who have been using the horse set for anywhere from 2 to 6 years. So let me start by telling you a little bit about Beamer. Beamer has both a human set and a horse set, and today we're mainly going to be talking about the horse set. The horse set has been available for 6 years, and the current model has been available since January 2019. What if I told you that the horse blanket and the cuffs are proven to eliminate pain, give our horses more energy, have them calmer, more focused, more supple, and do this all naturally? Well, would it be worth 30 minutes of your time to learn more? I would say yes, and I hope you agree. For those of you that are new to PEMF, it stands for Pulse Electromagnetic Frequency. Our Beamer system sends off a signal that increases vasomotion, which increases their blood flow. When this happens, you get more oxygen, more nutrients coming in, more waste removal, but more white blood cells activated. And it also increases their ATP, which gives them more energy. You know, I've been working with Beamer for over 7 years now, and I've seen miracles happen with hundreds of horses that I've worked with. There have been over 55 studies that have been done on the human Beamer, and now we have 4 studies that have been done on the new horse set. This slide shows 3 of the studies. The suppleness study shows that horses are calmer, more focused, and easier to work with. The surgery study shows that the Beamer has a positive effect on horses before and after surgery. And the third study here shows that back pain study shows that the Beamer has a positive effect on 100% of the horses with back pain. The other study that has been done on stallions to show that the Beamer system improves the performance of stallions for breeding purposes. Of course, these studies are all available upon request. Beamer is the only PEMF system that has actual studies proving that it is safe and effective for us and our horses. It's Beamer's unique signal that makes the difference. You know, Beamer increases impaired blood flow and microcirculation. The nice thing is there are no protocols. It's as easy as choosing low, medium, or high settings on the blanket and the cuffs. It's safe and non-invasive, which is great for our horses. As I mentioned, Beamer is the only PEMF system that has ongoing scientific studies. The first person I want to introduce is my sister, Linda Tellington Jones. For those of you that don't know Linda, Linda is considered one of the most experienced and knowledgeable equestrians in the world. She created the Tellington T-Touch, which she's written 22 books in 17 languages. She's literally traveled around the world for the last 50 years teaching her technique. She first was introduced to BEMER at Equitana over in Germany, where she's been keynote speaker for 50 years now. They had a booth there, and that's where she is our first family member out of 32 family members that are using the BEMER and getting great results. So Linda, welcome to our webinar. So thankful that you're here. How are you doing today? Hello, Linda.
Hi, Randy. So what a pleasure to be here with you. And when you mentioned I've had this BEMER for 19 years now, I was giving a performance at Equitana as usual that I did each year. And boy, we were working many, many hours for 9 days. And I was really tired after about the 5th day. And I went by this stand and it said, if you need more energy, come in and lie down for 15 minutes. And that time of years, it was 15 minutes. And I did, and I felt totally refreshed. So I went back every day and I went home with it. And it made a huge difference in terms of my already great energy. And when I moved actually to Hawaii from Santa Fe, something happened and I didn't have it for a few years. And on my 78th birthday, I had just come back from teaching like about 7-8 weeks straight in Europe in 5 countries. And I was exhausted and I thought it's time to hang up my spurs. And my brother Randy just happened to call me and said, Linda, didn't you tell me about this BEMER? I just heard that there's a new version of it. And I got one, you all, and it took me 7 weeks to recover. And I'm now 85 and I just came back from 8 solid weeks of teaching again in 5 countries. And it's just amazing BEMER. Now for horses, the thing that I really love about it, all the aspects that Randy talked about, you will be hearing from other people. What I really appreciate about it is the training aspect, that as Randy said, you can put this BEMER on your horse for 10 or 15 minutes. And when you get on it, you will feel like your horse is warmed up. And that makes a big difference for pleasure riders who have limited time, and also for competitive riders, also with limited time. So I think this product, as Randy said, is just something that every serious like rider and horseman, not just serious, but pleasure riders should have. So that's my story, Randy. And I want to hear from all these other wonderful people who have been using BEMER also.
All right. Well, great, Linda. Thanks so much. And I'm so happy that you got introduced to BEMER over in Europe 19 years ago. And you know, for those of you that aren't familiar, BEMER is a 24-year-old company out of Europe. We're in 44 countries around the world. We do it for humans and for our horses. And when you see the kind of results that Linda and myself and so many of the people here you're going to hear from have seen with our horses, this is just truly something that all of our horses can benefit from, with, and the riders as well. So as important as the horses. So next person I'd like to bring on is Dr. Jim Cummins, who's a colonel in the US Army. He's a veterinarian. He's been working with BEMER, I do believe, for almost 6 years now. So Jim Cummins, how are you doing today?
Hi, Randy, doing great. Good to see you and everybody else. I really, my background is, like you heard Randy say, I'm a colonel in the US Army. I grew up with horses from when I was a small child. I got my first horse when I was 11 and started delivering papers on the horse in Fort Smith, Arkansas. And I've always been with horses pretty much my whole life. And once I got to be a veterinarian, I was working with horses a lot. And also through the Army, we have horses in various assignments. So I was able to go a few of those as well. I got involved in Beamer as a different reason before there was a horse set in USA. I'm actually also a martial arts instructor, and I had been injured in the dojo. And I was doing the typical treatment, heat and elevation and ice and everything for over a month. Nothing was working. I got introduced to the Beamer. I went and tried it, and we put the Beamer on the B pad on the injury. And with just one session, it took the swelling out of my leg by half. And I was totally amazed because, like I said, what I was doing wasn't working. I went the next day, did it again, the same session, and I was able to get all the swelling out of my foot. It changed from purple back to normal foot color, and the discomfort associated with the injury was almost 100% resolved. I did it one more day, and everything was good to go. The discomfort was gone, the swelling was gone. The only thing left behind was just a little of the weird yellow-green bruise healing color at the side of the injury. Well, fortunately for me, the German group that came over from Liechtenstein to begin building the corporate headquarters in Carlsbad, California. And I got to meet with them and talk about the physiology. And they told me the next month they were going to release the Beamer equine unit in the United States, which we come to know as the version 2. I had the great fortunate opportunity to do the first 2 horses I ever put a Beamer on 2 months later with Linda Tellington Jones. She made a special trip from Hawaii just for us in San Diego. And we did some demos out in the parking lot to show everybody what the Beamer would do. And from there, I knew, the future was bright for Beamer and the Beamer equine just from what we saw then. And I started working with the hunter jumper horses in San Diego. A lot of them had a lot of discomfort in their back. A lot of them had a lot of swelling in the legs. And the results with the Beamer have been just fantastic. And I would say over the past 6 years, I've probably put close to, somewhere right around 1,000 horses on the Beamer, and probably almost as many people. And just the results that I've seen have been totally fantastic. Nothing compares to it.
Wow. Well, thank you, Dr. Jim. And, it's so great to have you part of our Beamer family. And, when like you and we've been working with so many horses and so many people. And when you see it over and over and over again, working with our horses, you can't deny it. I mean, this product truly works. So great to have you here today. Really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule, and look forward to seeing you soon. So next person I'd like to bring on is Heather Smith, who's based in Texas now. And I met Heather at the NFR, I believe, about 6 years ago. So Heather, great to see you. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. Great to see you, Randy. So as Randy said, I'm Heather Smith, and I'm a WPRA barrel racer, a best-selling author, and I'm also the creator of barrelracingtips.com. So yeah, Randy and I first met at the NFR in 2017, and I was able to try a human Beamer then for myself. And my husband, who is a professional team roper, and I have been using our Beamer horse set now since 2020. We use it on our performance horses before every ride and before competition, and a lot of times afterward as well. So our 2 top horses right now are a little older, and they've overcome some past injuries. So when Beamer came into our lives, I started what was going to be a final attempt at a comeback to competition with my good barrel horse. Now, horse people know there is a lot involved in getting and keeping performance horses at their best. But I always say there was life before Beamer and life after Beamer, and life after Beamer is a lot better. So this last comeback was highly successful, and while several previous attempts without Beamer were not. So we noticed the horses are just so much more supple and travel with more extension and fluidity in their stride after a Beamer session. And it just gives us so much confidence that our horses have every single advantage before we go down the alley or out of the rope and box. And in addition, we just really appreciate the convenience factor. So we can get barn chores done nearby while the horses are getting their Beamer sessions, or at competition, we might be getting hay bags put out or filling water buckets while they're getting their therapy. And I just love that it's completely hands-free and just so simple and easy to use. And in a time speed event like barrel racing or roping, we really have to put every odd in our favor. And plus for us, it's just very high priority for our horses who are like family members to support their just general health, their happiness and longevity. And so Beamer has been an absolutely incredible, game-changing and one-of-a-kind tool for helping us do that.
Wow, that's great, Heather. So awesome. I'm so glad we ran into each other at the NFR a few years ago, and and now you're getting great results like so many of us with the horse set. So thanks for being here. Can't wait to come and see your new facility down in Texas sometime in the near future. But thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
All right, bye for now.
Bye.
Next person I want to bring on is Joe Steiner, and Joe was a jockey for, I believe, 35 years. He's an amazing person. I've been lucky enough to spend a lot of time with Joe, mostly down in California, and Kentucky. And so, Joe Steiner, how are you doing today?
Great. Hi, Randy.
Hey, how are you doing?
Can you guys see me all right? Yeah, I'm so blessed to be introduced to the Beamer. I was a jockey for 35 years. I've ridden in 52 racetracks, all kinds of different countries. I've been on over 67,000 horses through my career. I rode 10,000 races. I won 1,000. I also broke 40 bones, and it's been an amazing career. But my wife, Dagmar, is an equine artist, and she's from Germany, and she was a huge fan of Linda Tellington-Jones. We received a newsletter of hers while we were in Germany and learned about the Beamer that was on her 80th birthday of Linda. And we actually ended up getting the human Beamer for me, mostly because of all my history. And in time, Linda said, why don't you give the Beamer horse blanket a try? So at the time we were living in Lexington, Kentucky, and I was working with old friends thoroughbred farm. They're all retired horses over there, where my wife was the artist for them. I worked on quite a few horses out there and saw amazing results with the horse blanket. And then I actually had a trainer approach me that had a mare that he loved, older mare that was producing babies as a brood mare, and she had a lot of trouble getting up after having her foals. And he asked me, would you want to give this Beamer a try? And I said, let's give it a try. So we put the Beamer blanket on her daily, 5 days, and then she had her baby. And as she went to get up, she got right up. And, we both looked at each other and just said, oh my God, wow, it was amazing. So that was just one little testimony I wanted to share with you guys about some of the experiences that I've had. But with that mare that wasn't looking like a real good future, it really made the difference with her. So anyway, that's my testimony there.
That's great, Joe. Yeah, thanks for sharing that, because, really, because what the Beamer does, it increases vascular motion. So it pumps more blood. When we pump more blood, you get more oxygen, more nutrients in, you get more metabolic waste coming out, you get more white blood cells activated, as well as it increases our horse's ATP and our ATP for that matter. And so what we notice for stallions and for mares, when we increase circulation, it can have a really positive effect on their performance overall. So thanks for sharing that, because there's so many horses, mares out there and stallions that can use this, and it can give them more longevity to their lives and their production. So thanks so much with that, Joe. Next person I want to bring on is Karen Hoffman. And Karen, if you can jump in here and just give us a little bit about where you're at and a little bit about your background, please.
Hi, I am from San Diego, and I showed American saddlebreds for years in the Midwest, as well as raising a few. Now I just pleasure ride in the mountains of California. I purchased my Beamer horse set for my mare Tess 2.5 years ago, strictly to keep her sound, healthy, and happy, and to give her the best life possible. So, on my experiences, on her very first session, she exhibited all the things we talked about of complete relaxation with the lowering of her head, the lick and chew, and the dreamy eyes. And I thought, well, this is great. It's like a little spa for my horse. What else does it do? So the next day when I took her out to exercise her, she moved as if she was already warmed up. Her focus, her suppleness, everything, she was just ready to work. And I thought, oh, something to this. So of course, I continued to use the Beamer. And within 2 or 3 months, her muscle tone completely changed, much more definition. As a Frisian, they're big girls. Her hair, her mane, her tail, and her feathers showed a dramatic increase in growth. And even my farrier asked, what supplements have you put her on? Because her hoof strength is that much more noticeably strong. In less than 2 months, I had about 12 horse owners at my ranch approach me wanting to have weekly sessions for their horses. So my non-intention of selling anything turned into people were soliciting me. So my blanket got paid for within 2 or 3 months, and I had a bunch of happy horse owners as well. I felt the magic of Beamer myself, not only an increase in energy, but focus and concentration. I did learn to do my sessions earlier in the day versus later because I was having more energy than I knew what to do with, cleaning the car, washing the fridge, doing things at 9 o'clock at night. So yes, do your equine sessions earlier in the day if you can. I had a horse client move to another ranch and she didn't want to do without the Beamer sessions regularly. So she bought a blanket and now she has a thriving business at another ranch because people notice the differences and the results just speak for themselves. I like to say that if horses could put the blanket on themselves, they would. They get so excited when they see me that it's like I'm the good humor man. The only thing missing is the music from the ice cream truck. I'm more popular than the hay guy almost. And it's been an amazing thing to see every horse perform at their best. 6 months ago, I purchased the human Beamer, not wanting my family to think that I thought the horses were more important than us humans. And every human that I put on the Beamer showed amazing results. So again, the results just sell themselves, which is a good thing because I was a therapist for 13 years with the brain injured and autistic, and I've never sold anything before in my life. So the Beamer sells itself, and I have definitely caught the Beamer fever.
Wow, that's great, Karen. What great stories. And, it's so great to see what it's doing for horses. And then now with your family, you have one too. And
right.
That's the nice thing about this, if you are interested, we are looking for people to help us spread the word. Our goal is to have a Beamer in every home and every barn out there. So if that might interest you, definitely get back to the person that invited you to this and have a discussion about not only getting your own Beamer for you and your horses, also maybe look at joining us in the business as well.
So my name's Kim Wilhelm and I'm here in Delaware, Ohio. And my background is basically in animal science. I'd always wanted to be a veterinarian and worked with a lot of animals. And I managed a standardbred horse breeding farm during my high school years. So it's great that I'm here in Delaware, home of the little brown jug. So my friend Rick had introduced the Beamer to me in 2017 and he was getting great results, but I was happy for him, but was not interested in anything until later on. He told me that they came out with a horse unit and I says, hold the phone. You mean I can actually work with horses and animals? And so, yeah, I was really thrilled. And shortly after I got my Beamer, I ended up in a car accident and I bought the human Beamer for myself. And then I was able to buy the horse unit. And I've had amazing results because, as I'm not a big athlete, but I do love and enjoy the, trail riding and parades. And my daughter was in 4-H and I noticed that horses that sometimes were difficult to load And one of the horses, Ditto, was 15 years old, and a trainer had been trying to get him on a trailer for over 3 hours, and he was having nothing to do with it. And I put the cuff over his head, and it was just like the horse that was in my pocket. He's like, "Where do you want me?" So I just think that it would be great that, you know, we don't have to think that the horse has to be injured or have an issue. The Beamer really helps put them in that parasympathetic state, which is amazing. And then later we had a horse that was an endurance horse that was very hot and anxious. He was tight in the rear, and we used the Beamer on him, and he just totally dropped, licked, relaxed. It was like a totally different horse, and he improved the DQP time, which is where the horse is tested by a veterinarian at rest, and then the time after an endurance trail, they have a time limit as to how they can get back to rest. Well, that time in just 3 sessions prior was cut in half, and he even went a couple extra miles that he wasn't supposed to. So his performance had improved drastically, his demeanor and everything. He was much more pleasant to work with. And I love the idea that we can use this in a proactive, not having to worry about, you know, horses that are injured, which it does great for also, but just helping the horse owners to be able to connect with the horses using Beamer. And I love it.
Wow, great. Well, that's great, Kim. And, you know, when you really look at what this can do, you know, for endurance horses, when you think about how just in only 3 sessions, that horse was able to cut its time in the vet checks to be able to keep moving. So that's very impressive. And that's, you know, after only 3 sessions. So that's the great thing about this product. The more we use it, the more consistent we can be with it, the better results that we're going to get for us and our horses. So next person I want to bring on is Ingrid Matheson, who's over near Montreal. And Ingrid, how are you doing today?
I'm really well, thanks. Yeah, so my name is Ingrid, and I've been involved in horses all my life. My dad was before. It's sort of a family thing. I'm also a violinist, but today I'm going to talk about horses. And I wanted to talk about an experience with a pony that I was asked to help. I've been doing Beamer since 2017, and this happened a few years ago. I was called in to help with a pony who had arrived at a barn and was basically feral. No one could touch him. No one could get near him. In fact, they had gotten him from the trailer into the barn by making a chute and chasing him into his stall. So when I got there, he was stuck in the corner of his stall and he wasn't moving. And I think if he was going to move, he would have just been coming on top of me. So I was thinking what I should do about this situation. And I decided to put the Beamer, hang it on the wall of the stall while I thought about my plan. So I hung it on the wall and I turned it on. And I did notice that the horse next to this pony was sidling up to the wall to try and get some Beamer vibe. And the pony's eyes stopped rolling a touch, just enough for when the Beamer stopped that I was able to sort of throw it on him. And luckily it landed on him. I had turned it on before. And by the time the session ended, he was calm enough, we're going to say, that I could go over and press a button again. So we ended up having 2 sessions and I got the blanket off very carefully. And the next day I went back and I put the blanket on him and I didn't have to throw it on him. I was able to put it on him. I turned it on first, of course. And I could come over and turn it off again. And I gave him another session. And by the end of that second session, I was actually picking burrs out of his tail. And he got his halter on and things just improved from there. So it really brought home to me how in my world, we tend to focus a lot on the physical things that Beamer can do for the horses. And yeah, we talk about the anxiety and stuff, but when you really see how you can help the anxiety and the fear by getting that blood flowing, they're breathing properly, they can take a breath, they can perhaps have a thought. This is just yet another wonderful aspect of Beamer. I think that's why it's so great for rescues to have Beamers because those animals are so traumatized often. So this was a great learning experience for me. And that pony he's a changed man. He's a good guy now and he has lots of friends. So thanks.
Wow, that's great. Thank you, Ingrid. And yes, that's the exciting thing about Beamer. It also affects the behavioral patterns for our horses. And what we find is that when they're Beamered, now they're calmer, they're more focused, they're easier to work with. And so there's so many horses out there that have so much stress, or especially when they're in a new place, they're at a competition around new horses, new environment. This is just a way to keep our horses calmer, more focused, and end up performing better because of it. So next person I want to bring on is Leanne Carrolls, who's over in Kingston, Ontario. So Leanne, are you with us?
I am. Hi, Randy.
Welcome. Good to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, so my name is Leanne Carrolls. I am from Kingston, Ontario, and I've been involved with horses for over 40 years, mostly quarter horses, and I show at quarter horse shows and some world shows. I got into Beamer just after I got back from a deployment in Egypt with the Army in August of 2020. And I was doing a lot of, I saw the magic of Beamer and the possibilities of Beamer. So I did a lot of work for my quarter horse friends. Well, one day in February 2021, I went to Sherwood Farms. They are typically barrel racers. And this was on a referral from one of my other quarter horse friends that I shared the Beamer with. And they had talked Sherwood's into calling me because they had a horse with a bit of an issue. So they have two young girls who barrel race, and they were interested in seeing if the Beamer would help their brand new barrel prospect. He was a 5-year-old gelding named Special Pete. They paid a lot of money for this horse, like a lot of money. And when they brought him home, he just won't run. So they were concerned, obviously, having spent a lot of money and have this horse not go anywhere. So I put the Beamer on him. In one session, I put the blanket on, and then just for them describing what was going on, I tried the cuffs on his hocks. The very next day, they went out to do practice with Special Pete, and lo and behold, he ran fast. And now he's running in the 1D, which is the highest level. He has broken many arena records, including the one at Birchill's Place, Ontario. He's got the fastest time in cold water just last week with over 200 horses, and he's pulling checks at almost every show. They eventually purchased their own Beamer a few months later, and I'm always excited to hear about how they did. They also had another gelding. His name was Ronnie. He's 19 years old, and he has a really, really stiff neck and therefore has issues going around barrels. So the neck was so stiff that it took two people and then myself to hold him steady enough that he would allow me to put the cuffs on his neck. Now, he was very sensitive with the neck for about 3 or 4 tries. So I went back every Sunday. And by the 4th week, he was just in the cross ties, and they'd say, Leanne, Ronnie's ready for you. I'm okay. And I have no issues with him at all. So I think it's really great that we can help horses like that to not only quiet them, of course, but also to make them perform better. And of course, there are many, many other stories like that, but I chose that one because it really stuck with me how well those two geldings did after Beamer.
Wow, that's great. Thanks for sharing that. And, when you really hear those type of stories, and I hear those stories all the time, Leanne, where, they start using the Beamer, and especially in either barrel racing or thoroughbreds or standard breds, and they find that their horses are performing not only better, faster. And so that's obviously anybody who's being competitive in the horse world, that's what we're hoping for, is to have our horses perform at their absolute maximum. And that's what the Beamer allows them to do. So thank you so much for sharing that. And next person I want to bring on is Dan Neal, who's normally from California, but I think you're out there in Texas right now, aren't you there, Dan?
My name's Dan Neal. I've been involved with the Beamer 3 years. I was introduced to Beamer actually by my brother, Dr. Jim and Rowena Murray. I was a professional bull rider, and I rode from 1977 to 1996. So obviously a lot of injuries went there, and the Beamer made a big impact in my life. The past summer at the Lone Star Racing Park down in Texas, working with the thoroughbreds. And after meeting a few of the trainers, going over the benefits of the Beamer, you know, my first prospect was brought to me. She was a 2.5-year-old mare. She'd been brought in for training. She had not ran a race at the time. She was a ball of nerves, is what the trainer told me. And as I went into the stall to meet her, you could touch her muscles would quiver. She was very nervous. She made me a little nervous. But as time went on, and I did actually 50 Beamer sessions on her. Started 7 days a week for the first week. Second week, we went into week, and third week, we're doing 5 days a week. And so she's becoming very friendly. Looking forward to the Beamer session. When she would see me, of course, she would start licking her lips. Well, the trainer said that at that point, he was pretty impressed with what he was seeing. And he decided that he's going to go ahead and enter her in a race, her first race. And I'll tell you, that was a big deal. Her first race, she took a second place. Now, I had 3 more, I call them Beamer horses. And at the end of the season, the last day out of 3 barns, we had 2 second places and a first place. So I was pretty happy with the outcome. I plan on going back in September for the quarter horse side.
Those are great stories, I'll tell you, Dan. And, you know, that's the interesting thing about this product. I've seen horses that literally were not able to compete anymore. And now you start using the Beamer on them, and now they get back, you know, in the race, and they start, you know, not even doing well. They're starting to win, or, you know, get in the top 3. So that's a powerful story. So thanks so much for bringing that up, Dan, because I know there's a lot of horses out there that can use this product with those type of situations. So, well, great. You know, it's amazing when you hear all these stories over and over again, you really start realizing how important that this product can be. And the nice thing I love about this product when we're working with horses, there is no placebo. You know, it either works or it doesn't. And when you watch your horse get a Beamer session, it's undeniable that this product is absolutely changing their behavior. When you go out and ride them, they feel softer, more supple, calmer, more focused, and literally perform better. And I hear that so often after only 1 session. I always ask people if the horse is sound, after a session, to go out and ride them and see how they feel. And I've had them come back over and over again. And I've had some of the top equestrians in the world say, I've had that horse for 9 years and he just rode better than he's ever ridden. So when you hear that, you really understand what this product can truly do. So I'd love to bring my sister, Linda Tellington Jones, back on just to recap this.
Hi, Randy. I'm absolutely with you, and I'm so excited to hear all these stories. And the idea that this product is so simple to use, we didn't talk much about that. That's I think one of the big issues. And the fact that you can be doing other things while you're getting your horse warmed up, and the benefits for the rider, the owner, the horse. And to have a product like this that we can share with other people, we would like you to join us with this incredible product.
Great. Well, thank you, Linda. And actually, we're between Val's family, all of our families. We've got 32 family members that are using the Beamer and absolutely loving it. So that's pretty exciting. You know, keeps us younger, healthier, and more vibrant. All right. So if you like what you saw or you'd like more information, we have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you'd like, either call me directly at 310-415-0026, or you can email me at randy@energy4horses.com. Or if you'd like, just click the button below and enter your information so we can schedule a call and get all your questions answered. Thanks for watching. I look forward to talking to you directly.
Beamer Horset is registered as an animal medical device for the US and Canadian market. Beamer Horset is in no way a substitute for medical care. It is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any medical condition or disease. Beamer does not replace treatment by your veterinarian. Please consult with your own veterinarian if your horse has a medical concern. Beamer Horset is developed for horses and is not intended to use on small animals or people.